Marvin Bagley says he is happy to be in Sacramento. Buddy Hield says he'll do whatever the Kings ask of him, even if it's coming off the bench. And Tristan Thompson steals the show at Sacramento Kings Media Day. You're going to hear it all on today's episode of the Locked On Kings podcast.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily Sacramento Kings podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for another episode of Locked On Kings.
Hello and welcome into Locked On Kings, your podcast hub for Sacramento Kings coverage all regular season and all off season. If you're looking for in-depth analysis, game-by-game breakdowns, highlights, interviews with local and national experts, full coverage of your Sacramento Kings from January through December, this is the place for you, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. My name is Matt George. I have the privilege of being your host here. I've been a Sacramento sports media member, Sacramento Kings media member for the last 7 years. This will be my 8th season covering the Kings, formerly at KHTK Sports Radio in Sacramento, now at ABC News 10 Television in Sacramento. Very excited for this season for the Sacramento Kings. Very excited to share with you this condensed version of Media Day that I've put together. You're going to hear from head coach Luke Walton, Marvin Bagley, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson, condensed versions of their press conferences with the Sacramento Kings media at Media Day today. I think you're really going to enjoy what all of them have to say. Some very interesting stuff that you are not going to want to miss. But before we get to that, I do want to say thank you really quick, because last month, I didn't catch it actually until I looked at the numbers yesterday, but last month, Locked On Kings surpassed 1 million downloads. 1 million downloads now, like 1,080 something thousand right now. So already approaching 1,100,000. Thank you so much, all of you, whether you have been here since the very beginning, whether this is your first listen, you all count towards that tally. And never did I ever think that the Locked On Kings podcast would get to 1 million downloads. That's incredible. I'm so grateful for that. So thankful for that. And that just makes me want to work harder for the next million downloads that we have here on Locked On Kings. I'm going to make sure that content is better than ever. And it starts today with bringing you the inside look that you deserve, bringing you the most need to hear clips from this Sacramento Kings Media Day. And we are going to start with head coach Luke Walton. Take a listen to what Coach Walton had to say. Talked about some of the moves that the Kings made this offseason. I asked Luke about implementing defense, and he talks about defense being the primary focus in training camp. Great stuff from the Sacramento Kings head coach.
We love the players we have and the team we have. For me, it's just give me basketball players. I want guys that know how to play. I want guys that love to compete, that are going to fit the style we want to play. And from there, we'll use training camp. We'll use the preseason to figure out what rotations are best for us going into the start of the season. And whether that's 3 guards or 2 bigs, that'll all be determined over the next few weeks of camp.
We haven't actually been able to talk to you about Davion yet. Just overall impressions of him and what he brings to your team so far.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier with him. Everything we heard, the reports that our scouts gave us when we were making the draft pick. I think Monty and his crew did another fantastic job. The type of person we want in our organization, Davion, is all of that. I mean, he's in the gym before workouts, after workouts, coming in at night, in the weight room, just puts his head down and just keeps grinding. And that's just what you want. There's a reason he, as a young man, has already won at so many different levels because of how he works. So we're thrilled to have him. He's on the shorter size, so you wonder how far up you can guard him as far as position, who he's defending. And that's why part of the reason, one of the things I'm excited about preseason is to put him on some of these bigger players and see what that looks like. But I can tell you from his mentality and from how he views the game, we're going to be able to play him in a lot of different ways.
Hi, Luke. Good to see you. At the start of the offseason, you talked about wanting to work heavily with your players individually working defense this offseason. You talked about using some of your assistants, sending them to work one-on-one with players. And we've seen multiple videos of the team getting together for workouts this offseason. I was curious, just a progress report on how you felt that defensive work went and how it is heading into training camp.
Yeah, well, defense will be the priority going into camp. I think everyone that's involved in this Kings family, from fans to media to players to front office, realize that, that's where we can make our biggest jump, and that's where we have to. Last year, I think we're going to be better offensively, but even through, the different things that we had to go through last year, we still finished around 12 offensively. It's the defense where we can make a huge jump. So that was a huge priority going into the summer. And part of that is getting our young players stronger. And I think when you guys see Tyrese and De'Aaron, guys that play big minutes for us, and see the amount of work they put in on their bodies this summer, that'll already make us a better defensive team. The understanding of what we're trying to do, coming back with players like Mo and TD, now that they've been around the group a little bit, will help. Bringing Alex, Lynn, and Tristan, guys that know what this league is all about, into that mix. Those are all things that are going to help our defense. And then we're going to hit defense first thing tomorrow, talk about it, work on it. And then we're just going to keep drilling home all training camp long on it.
Can you share maybe a little bit of what your conversation possibly with Buddy Hield about what happened over the summer and where things stand with him right now as far as training camp getting started?
Yeah, Buddy looks great. He was here working out all last week, and he's in a good place. And me and him have had great talks, and we've been very open about how I need him to help our team, and he's up for it. So we're excited that he's back with us, and he's one of the most elite shooters in this league, and we all know how important shooting is in today's NBA. So he's happy to be here. We're happy to have him.
Yeah, Luke, when you're walking into camp, you do have a lot more depth than you had last year. Just what is the competition going to look like at positions? How many sort of starting jobs do you have open at this point?
Yeah.
Because it looks like you might have one starting job between like 4 or 5 players.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Players love to compete. You don't get to this level without loving to compete. So there's different groupings I want to see, because it's not always about just putting your best 5 players on the court. It's what players work the best together, and then what gives you a second wave that can come in and really do a great job as well. So there's going to be times at camp where I want to see, De'Aaron, Tyrese, and Davion all on the court together. And then there's lineups I want to see where it's, TD, Mo, Alex, Lynn, just a gritty, veteran, smarter, defensive group. So there's a lot I'm going to be looking at going into camp. But when the competition is that high, you can really judge where you're at, as opposed to one group just beating up on another group the whole time. So it's exciting.
Coach, I think from our perspective, from the media last year, there were several distractions with Marvin. As you guys start camp tomorrow, where do you feel things are at with him at this point right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the answer is the same. Like, look, Marvin is he had a career year last year, and there's always going to be distractions. Nothing ever runs perfectly smooth, but that's part of it. That's how you grow. That's how a team grows. You go through different things, and the progress he made last season before he got hurt, continue to work this summer. Then we come into camp, and he's tall, he's versatile, he's skilled, athletic. Look, these are all things we're excited to see. And again, this is where it's great to talk about all these things, but where it really comes in is watching it live in camp starting tomorrow. So we're thrilled to have him here, and excited about working with him.
Before we hear from Marvin Bagley, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson, I want to let you know that today's episode of the Locked On Kings podcast is brought to you by Sleeper. In 2018, fantasy sports experts at Sleeper realized that fantasy basketball was just broken. Games were being won and lost based off of whose players had more scheduled games that week. It made no sense. It required very little strategy. It took all the fun out of fantasy basketball. So in 2020, Sleeper released a brand new way of playing fantasy basketball. It's called Game Pick. It's only available on Sleeper. In Game Pick, owners pick a single game per week for each of their starters to count towards their team's total score, ensuring an even number of games played between opponents. So the days of losing because your opponent's players play more than your player does, those days are over. The days of mindless daily fantasy busy work, those are over, as are the days of giving up halfway through the season because of that busy work. No more. With Sleeper's Game Picks, it has you covered. Sleeper cracked the fantasy basketball code, and if you play fantasy football and you prefer building out a weekly strategy versus the daily busy work of fantasy basketball, you're going to love Game Picks. Download the Sleeper app and start a league with your friends today. You will not be disappointed. Does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live. You have another that lets you stream your favorite shows. You're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for all the other good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simpler way to get all that entertainment together in one place without the hassle. It's called DirecTV Stream. It brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes, no need to buy another device ever again, and the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter, get rid of the confusion, and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device is required. Content varies by package. We've been waiting a long time for the opportunity to speak to Marvin Bagley. This was our first time to speak to Marvin since all the latest drama with him and things that he liked on social media, taking the Kings out of his bio and going on his podcast that only released one episode, talking about why he liked certain things on social media, suggesting he should be traded out of Sacramento and how his camp has been pointing the finger at the Sacramento Kings. All of this happened before this opportunity to speak to Marvin Bagley. So he knew he was going to face questions about it. He did respond kinda. There's one thing in particular that I'm going to want to point out on the back end of this, but also Marvin talked about the things that he's been working on during the offseason, the possibility of getting injured again. Take a listen to Marvin Bagley, who's already in his 4th season, believe it or not.
I was just working my ass off all summer, just making sure I was ready to come back and just show what I've been doing in the summertime. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to kind of be in a spot where I can get better, and I'll just keep continuing to move forward.
One of the last times we talked to you, you said that, that kid that got off the plane here in Sacramento with the basketball in his hand is still miles away from where you are today. Just now here you are in another media day in Sacramento, which kind of what goes through your mind as you look around and see what's around you now?
I'm blessed. I woke up today. I got my family, I got friends, I got people that's close to me that support everything I do, that love me. So I can't complain about nothing, man. I'm in a good spot. I'm right where God want me to be, and I'm just ready to start off another year and continue to show the world what I can do.
And Marvin, you said that you've been working your ass off this offseason. I'm just curious about what specifically you've been working on. Is it a well-rounded trying to focus on multiple areas, or is it like hitting defense specifically, extending the shot? What have you been working on and focusing, and what are you looking forward to showing off in training camp?
Everything. Just continuing to tighten up on my strengths. Things in my mind that I think during the game, I feel like I can get better at. Just a lot. My overall game, I've been working on it. I've been talking it out with people that I've been with in the summertime, coaches that I've been, with Doug, especially since I've been back here. So it's been great. I'm excited to come out and show what I've been working on, and like I said, continue to get better and move in the right direction.
Sorry, Marvin, you said Doug Christie you've been working with specifically?
Yeah. Since I've been back in Sac, I've been with Doug, and we've been talking about basketball a lot, and we've been doing some amazing stuff. Been here in the morning, early in the morning before we played and before we lived. So the work is being put in, and I'm just excited to show the world what I can do.
Working with Doug, I spent quite a bit of time with Doug myself. Just how much does his knowledge and the way that he approaches things, how much can that help somebody like yourself?
I love it. I love basketball, and be able to be with somebody who loves the game just as much, and could talk the game through and teach me little things that I didn't know before, and just keeps continuing to talk through the game. And that's something that I love. And that's what he's been able to do for me since I've been here. He's been showing me a lot of different things on the court, different drills, different small things I can learn how to do, use in my body, and just stuff that I can take with me and use to be able to be a better player. So, like I said, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be working with Doug and being able to continue to get better and take my game to the next level.
I know that injuries and stuff, they wear on you mentally. I mean, it's tough to have the setbacks. Just how much are you looking forward to a fresh start and hopefully having a season where you don't have setbacks and that you can go out there and sort of grow into who you should be as a player?
I'm not even worried about the injuries anymore, man. I'm past it. It happens. I don't wake up in the morning and just say, "Oh, I'm gonna go get hurt today." That's not something I'm thinking about. That's not something that no one would want to happen. So I'm just, like I said, I'm in a great space, man. I'm blessed. I woke up. I'm healthy. I'm feeling good. I got family, friends supporting me. Everybody in that I know who are truly in my corner, supporting me. So that's all I can ask for, man. And I'm blessed. I'm gonna do whatever the team need. That's the biggest thing. We all want to win, and if everybody can continue to put their gifts and talents together in a way that we can win together, I think that's the biggest thing for us this season. So, I'm just ready to come out, play hard as I possibly can, do whatever I can, help the team win, and hopefully get past that hump of not making the playoffs, and that's the ultimate goal, and even winning a championship. So that's what we're thinking. That's what we're thinking about when we're going into these workouts, and it has to be like that in order to achieve what you want to achieve. You got to think big, and I think we're all doing that. And like I said, man, I'm here. I'm excited to get back on the court and have a healthy season.
And what do you I know you said that you're happy to be here, but what do you think of the roster that's been assembled here? And do you think that the Kings are ready to take that next step forward and as far as winning and overall, what do you think of the group here?
Oh man, I think we're definitely ready to take that next step. Monty, I think he did a great job of putting pieces together to go out and compete. And like I said, I'm just excited to be a part of it. I've been here for like 2 weeks now, and being able to get a feel for the guys and playing with the guys who are here, it's been exciting. So I'm just like I said, I'm happy to be a part of it. I can't wait to continue to learn about the guys and move forward.
Hey Marvin, good to see you, man. As you look back on these last couple of years, it's clear you're saying today you've got a pretty strong commitment to this team and the group and the season ahead. Has it been fair for people to question your desire to be in Sacramento and your commitment for the team? And do you want to say, just where you're at right now in terms of your desire to be here and your commitment to this team?
First of all, I never really worried about what other people would think or say about me. That doesn't help me be a better player. That doesn't help me contribute to my teammates and to my team. That never has. My only thing is to continue to give everything I got to this team as long as I'm here, however long I'm here, whatever. That's God's plan. I'm here, and I'm gonna give everything I got, and that's all I can control. I can't worry about the other stuff. And like I said again, I'm excited to be here, and I'm ready to get another season going. I'm blessed to be able to come into it healthy, and I'm just excited to finish the season off healthy.
Did you catch when he was asked about all that off-court drama? Mainly, he said the same things, the same kind of cookie-cutter answers that he's always given. No surprise there, so I'm not really bothered by that. But he said a couple different times, he brought up the family and friends that love him and surround him and support him no matter what he does. Now, I'm not trying to read too far into this, and I'm not trying to put words in Marvin Bagley's mouth, but that sure sounds like to me he's taken the side of the people that have vocally spoken out against the Sacramento Kings. Now, I'm not saying he's endorsing what they say, but he hasn't denied it at any point. He continues to not deny it. And now here in this press conference, he talks about how blessed he is and how thankful he is for those people who support him no matter what happens. And he continues to lean on those people than he does on others that are maybe more critical of him, but rightfully so. The criticisms that Marvin Bagley has faced for the most part have been justified, in my opinion. And once again, he seems to lean more towards the people that will not criticize him, but will continue to hype him up or tell him the things that he wants to hear instead of the things that he needs to hear. So again, maybe just my takeaway from that. I don't know if you read that same thing into those answers, but that jumped off the page to me while we were in that press conference with Marvin. After Marvin was Buddy Hield, and of course, Buddy was almost a Los Angeles Laker by all accounts other than the Los Angeles Lakers and Washington Wizards, who ended up making their deal. Buddy was asked about that. And even when he's asked about it for a second time later on in the press conference, new Sacramento King Tristan Thompson takes the mic from him, comes to his defense. You're going to want to catch this.
We asked the same question to Mark, at least I did a few minutes ago, but you can't help what's in the press and seeing your name attached to every trade rumor out there. And then here you are in Sacramento today. Is there any part of you that's a little surprised to be sitting here today?
Yeah, they love me in Sac. That's why I'm still here. But man, it's business. It's the business we live in. Each and every day you got to come in there and compete, and guys can move, guys can move. Yeah, I saw it, but I can't control none of that, and like I said, this is the business we live in. My job is coming in and work my butt off every day and produce and try to produce wins. And can't get mad at that. And I get paid lots of money to do this. So I'm blessed in each every day to come out here and compete. And I love to be around my guys. I love the team camaraderie share and all that. The coaching staff has been great. It's been fun. So I love it. When whatever happens. I can't control that, but my job is to go out there and play basketball, and I love to do it at a high level.
Hey, buddy, you've started for this team. You've come off the bench for this organization before. Does that matter to you really at all? And do we overblow the optics of that sometimes, starting versus coming off the bench?
It's the way you see it. Everybody sees it differently. My job is to come and play basketball, and whatever I'm called to do, I got to be ready to do it regardless, if I like it or not. And that's just part of being a professional. Just go out there and compete, and things happen, team changes, but my goal is to be a starter every time I come on the court, regardless of it, whatever the team needs me to do or whatever team situation I'm in. I got to be prepared for that. So it's fun, to get to learn to adjust, like I said earlier to Sean, just adjusting to whatever you got to do.
Yeah, buddy, we talked to Luke, and he said that he's had conversations with you about what's expected, where you're going to play, the type of role that you might have. Just you can see how many guards this team has. Did you concentrate sort of on maybe getting bigger and stronger to play a little bit more wing this year, or just was it your standard offseason?
No, just whatever they call me to do, I just got to do. And you just got to. And if I'm playing a bigger wing role, I just get, like I say, adjust and toughen up and do what they tell me that I need to do.
Buddy, you were real close to becoming a Laker, man, that one day. What was that day like for you? And then just, all this other it was.
Yeah, Tristan, say what kind of question is that?
Well, you were real close to being
day one of training camp. Buddy Hield is wearing a Sacramento Kings jersey. That's where his mind and focus is at. He's gonna have a stellar year. I'm going to set him some great wide pin downs to get him open.
Facts.
So, that's his mindset right now. What's in the past, we cannot control that. When you look in the rear view, that's when you crash. We look forward and ahead. Thank you.
What he said, bro.
Really a great answer and a fun moment by Tristan Thompson, who to me stole the show in this Kings Media Day round of press conferences, not just because of what he did taking the mic away from Buddy Hield, but his own press conference, the great answers that he gave, you're going to hear coming up next. Before that, though, today's episode of Locked On Kings is brought to you by our friends over at Built Bar. You've heard me talk about them many times before. Built Bars, they're absolutely delicious. Protein bars that taste like candy bars, covered in 100% chocolate, a wide variety of flavors, including like raspberry. My favorite is mint brownie, although I will say that my mint brownie being my favorite is being put to the test right now, because we got a box. My wife and I got a box sent to our house of the newest flavor for Built Bar. That's cookie dough. And I love cookie dough. My wife loves cookie dough. We love cookie dough ice cream. Mint brownie and cookie dough ice cream are our favorite flavors of ice cream. And when I have these bars, it tastes like I'm eating that kind of ice cream, just not as cold. And also, these bars are better for you. But the cookie dough flavor, oh man, it's so good, as is the mint brownie. You could give those a try by going to built.com, ordering a mixed box. You can try all these different flavors out. And then once you know what flavors you want, you can order those bars specifically and have them sent to your house. These bars are healthy, 17 to 18 grams of protein, calories ranging from 130 to 180, only 4 to 5 grams of sugar, only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Order them today at built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your order. Again, that's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. You're going to hear Tristan Thompson, some great answers, showing some leadership. You know, Tristan, he has kind of this reputation about him because of his association with the Kardashians and him being on reality TV and maybe his time with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Some people thought that he was not the guy that he portrayed so far in his press conference. You're going to hear these answers. I think you're really going to like these answers. I was incredibly impressed by Tristan Thompson. So why don't you hear for yourself, make your own decisions. Here is newest Sacramento King big man Tristan Thompson on what he brings to the Sacramento Kings. And I thought it was fitting that he opened his press conference talking about the city of Sacramento and the fan base.
I'm excited to be here. Sacramento's always had a great fan base, dating back to when, who's actually an OG of mine, is Doug Christie, one of the original Raptors legends. So back when he was playing, and, I remember as a kid watching and even now, playing with them, with the new arena, the Golden One Center, which the city very much deserved that new arena, because Sleep Train was definitely a tough visiting locker room to go into, not because of the aesthetics. So I'm happy that the team got it and the city got a new arena. They deserved it. But in terms of the team, being teammates with Luke for a year and a half, it's crazy how time flies. That at one point we were teammates and he was throwing me high-low passes and getting me some easy buckets around the rim. Now he's my head coach. It just shows you how quick time flies in this league. And with this team with a lot of great young talent, I want to be able to come in and pay my knowledge that I've learned from the guys before me forward. Having the opportunity to play with a guy like LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin, and then having last year playing with an emerging superstar in JT and JB. Help these younger guys. They have a lot of potential, and I know they want to be great. And I think what I can bring to the table is that knowledge, but also know what it takes to win. Been in a winning culture, and know what the sacrifice is every day to get to that point. So that's what I'm just trying to bring each and every day here, and level of toughness.
Hi, Tristan. Tristan, you've been to the promised land, so you're coming into a locker room that's trying to reach there. And an awful lot of young rookies, an awful lot of young players that don't know that. Do you feel since you've come there that they've been knocking at your door, asking for you for advice, asking you for about your experiences so far, and trying to learn from you and take on board what they can gather from your knowledge?
Yeah, no, they definitely ask questions. I think obviously, in the summertime, guys are training and with their family all over the place. I think now that we're all together for a long period of time and we're back in the grind mode, I know that a lot of guys are gonna have questions, and I'm always open book. One thing about me, I'm a straight shooter. I keep it real and just tell them how hard it is. It's tough in this league to be great and to get to the promised land and just put yourself in a position to win. It starts from day one. It starts from today, from media day, the mindset you have coming in, and it's tough. It's the season's long. The NBA season's long. It's not like football where you have 16 games in 3 months. For the NBA, it's a 6-month commitment, and it's practice every day, traveling and games. So it's not easy, but that's what makes the great ones great. And for me, being around the greats and seeing what they did, and day in and day out, I want to be able to pass it on. And I think that's what this league should be about. The guys, the knowledge you get from the greats before you should pass it on to the younger generation, and that's how you keep this league growing, and that's how you keep the great players and turn these guys into the next great superstars in our league.
You look at Marvin Bagley, and I'm sure you watched him from afar. He's got all the physical skills and tools, but because he's missed so much time, he needs help specifically on the defensive end. How, as a veteran, can you help him along and put him under your wing and sort of help him develop?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Marvin has he had some unfortunate injuries in his career, and I know for a young player, it's definitely frustrating, especially because you want to be out there and play, and you want to showcase yourself each and every night. And unfortunately, things happen. I think for him, what I could do is just be that person you can lean on. I know you said defensively how you can help. I think defense, it's all about a foundation. I think sometimes teams try to skip steps before their players are ready, and it's whether it's adding too much stuff to the defensive playbook before the team is ready, or even for individual player, if he might be a little behind. And it's like anything in life, not everyone's going to pick up things as quick as others. So that's when it comes down to, players and coaches to put the extra work in, especially for a guy that you care about and you want to see succeed. You have to do that. And for me, if I see things that I know he might not be grasping or needs help with, I'm always going to be an open door policy where I can help him. But even in practice, if I see something that I know he's not grabbing onto, I'll be there to help him, because that's my job as a veteran leader. And in order to win, everyone's got to be on the same page. So, I mean, with Coach Longo coming in and being the defensive guy, I've been with him for including for like 5 years. So I know exactly the things we're going to do defensively. So I could be definitely a great teacher for Marvin, but just for the other guy. I don't think it's just Marvin specifically. We got so many new young guys here. I think everyone's going to need help on it. So I would never, point out one guy in particular, just because it's going to be new for everyone. So, so not just Marvin. I think everyone's just we all going to need help together to understand this and build that foundation.
What is it about this team specifically that intrigues you and makes you excited to come into work?
They're fun to watch and fun to play against. I mean, they're a type of team, if you don't come ready to play, they'll go on a 17-5 run on you, and scoring was never an issue. They were fun to watch, and they got a lot of possessions, and they made basketball fun. You could tell guys were having fun out there on offense. I think defensively, that was an area where they got to be better at. But that happens, when your team is young and guys are trying to figure themselves out, but also figure out, what coach wants. As young players, it's tough sometimes. So I think with them bringing in some veteran guys that can kind of help lead and kind of lead by an example, but also be out there to kind of help those young guys defensively, catch up. I think it's a great mesh. You know what I'm saying? I think when you build a team, it's a puzzle piece, right? You can't have too many guys that do too many of the same things. It's a puzzle piece. So I think they've done a good job this summer, grabbing some pieces that can mesh to build a proper puzzle. And it's going to be on us to keep coming together, to keep working every day to push each other.
Hey, Tristan, this team, especially recently, has been on the cusp of that next step of reaching the playoffs, and it's just eluded them. Based off of your experience, what do you see that is missing on this team that you are hoping to bring, even if it's off the court?
I think the NBA, it's literally a possession game. And I think if you look at, the point difference in terms of wins and losses, it's like a possession and a half, 2 possessions, maybe tops. So that's just 2 more stops. So I think because I've been on both sides, I've been on winning teams, I've been on teams that have been in a situation like this team where, you're around the cusp and you feel like you should have that chance to make the playoffs. And I've been on a straight rebuild situation. So I've been in this position before. I think it was when Mike Brown was the coach in my 3rd year. It was me, Kyrie, Dion, Luol Deng. I think we had Andrew Bynum. We were on the cusp. I think we finished like 10th or 9th in the East. But it's about possession games. I think when it gets to the 4th quarter or even the second half, you got to eliminate those 8-0 runs. You got to cut those down. I think obviously, in the 1st quarter, things happen where teams are on hot starts. But 3rd and 4th quarter, you can't afford to have teams go on those big runs, because they'll set you back so much that you have to dig yourself out of a crazy hole to even put yourself in position to win. So I think for this team, it's just limiting those runs that teams may go on. And I think that will help a lot. So it starts defensively. I think that should be the main focus for us going into training camp is how can we force this, 2 or 3 extra stops in the course of a game where, stop the bleeding.
Hearing you talk about your experiences in the league, being with winning teams, being in rebuilding situations, now you look around the room you're in today, and I just wonder, where do you feel like this Kings team is on that spectrum in terms of, just trying to be competitive, or whether the pieces might be here for a team that could make the playoffs?
No, I think this team could be very competitive. Like I said, scoring is not an issue for this team. So one thing is, if you can score, you can definitely win a fair share of games. But if you want to get to that next step in terms of being in the playoffs, it's about what you can do on the defensive end, because there's very few teams in this league that can play zero defense and just score enough points to win. And, there's probably 5 of those teams, maybe only 4 that can get away with that each and every night. But I feel like for our team and what we're trying to build, I think defense has got to be a priority. I think if we're able to just come together with a couple more stops, it changed the whole outcome of the game. I think a couple stops take you from being 11th in the West or 10th in the West to being, an 8th seed, or have a chance of playing the playing game. So I think that's something that this team has potential to do. I think we have the right personnel that can do it. And I think it's just about growing. I think the key for us is to have a good start. So training camp will be important for us. I think preseason will be important. Of course, it's got to be a balance in terms of, like, you want to keep guys fresh and everything like that. But I feel like with a younger team, it's always good to have a hot start, because a lot of those veteran ball clubs, I remember when I was on a veteran team, we wouldn't start hitting our stride till maybe around Christmas. So for this team right now, being a younger team, we got to take advantage of those veteran teams kind of having a slower start.
Like I said, I thought Tristan Thompson absolutely stole the show. He was very impressive in his press conference. I look forward to talking to him more as the season goes on, seeing what kind of veteran he can be for this Kings locker room. Still a question mark about how much playing time he's going to get, where he fits in this rotation. We'll have to see with all of that. But based off that press conference, I'm very happy that Tristan Thompson is a Sacramento King. What are your takeaways from these Kings press conferences that you have heard here on Media Day? And remember, De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton, they spoke to the Kings media before Media Day. I actually did an episode on that early last week, that you can go and listen to. Davion Mitchell also spoke with the media. Harrison Barnes spoke with the media. Jamias Ramsey spoke with the media. I didn't do an episode on those, but you can find those online, find those on YouTube or on like ABC 10. Or go to abc10.com and you can see the feed put up there by Sean Cunningham, who was live at the Golden One Center for Media Day today. So you can go and check out all of that. But what are your takeaways from Media Day so far, or to this point? Your thoughts on Marvin Bagley, what Luke Walton had to say, what Buddy Hield had to say, Tristan Thompson? Send them to me at MattGeorgeSack on Twitter. You can email me, mattgeorgesports@gmail.com, and feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below if you're watching on YouTube. The NBA 2K22 giveaway is finished. It finished last weekend, but this is not the only giveaway I'm going to do. In the very near future, I'm going to be doing a similar giveaway, except I'm going to be giving away some kind of Sacramento Kings paraphernalia, whether it's a shirt, a hat, maybe even a jersey. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. And yes, I still want to do a fans only episode. That's going to come up here as we approach the start of the regular season. By the way, I'm recording this on Monday night. You're probably listening to this on Tuesday, but we are a week away, as on Monday night, from the start of preseason for the Sacramento Kings. I think it's the Phoenix Suns that they play first. Absolutely crazy that it's that close. Training camp begins tomorrow, Tuesday, their first day of practice. So King season is here, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for all the fun that brings. And of course, you will have all the information and all the coverage you need, and then some here on the Locked On Kings podcast. Thanks again for 1 million downloads. That's crazy to say. I look forward to the millions more coming soon. And I look forward to having you back with me on the next episode of Locked On Kings, expected to be joined by Jason Jones of The Athletic tomorrow. We'll talk about some of these things from Media Day, his thoughts on what some of the players had to say. And we're going to take a look at the whole Summer League roster and talk about which of the lesser named players, or the two-way players, or the role players, which one of those players have opportunities, or he thinks will have opportunities to actually crack the Kings rotation. That's all coming on tomorrow's Locked On Kings podcast. Until then, my name is Matt George. You have been listening to Locked On Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.